So, hey, everybody, welcome. I've shared the big news by email with everybody, but the two big changes. The most important one is Nina Rhoton is our research coordinator pre-award. She has joined our staff. Experienced, has done this for some years here at Texas State. As Nandini learned, she knows her way around REP and clearly has experience as a pre-award research coordinator. So she just joined us over the summer, late in the summer, start of the fall semester. Matthew Wynn, who was with us for some years, switched. He got moved up into the Office of Sponsored Research. And so he took advantage of that opportunity, and we promptly stole Nina from another department. So thank you for joining us and bringing your experience and expertise here. The other big change is that the amount of funding for REPs doubled. So it has been for 15 or more years, it has been $900,000. And now, I'm sorry, it has been $450,000. And all of a sudden this year, we got permission from sponsored research and from the Faculty Senate, before it was the Faculty Senate Advisory Committee, to double it. And an important change in that. So it went from 450,000 to 900,000. We didn't double the amount of money that members can get. We increased that by 50%. I say we, I serve on the university's REP committee. So I'm actually on the university-wide committee for REPs. So as part of the group making these decisions. And so what we've done is we've increased the amount of funding for the principal investigator or for two investigators by 50%. So it used to be you could apply for $8,000. Now you can apply for 12,000. If you're partnered with somebody, you can apply for 24,000 instead of 16,000. All the same things that were covered before are covered. Some are salary, costs related to research. I've paid for surveys, faculty members have paid for travel. All of those still apply to REPs. None of those rules changed. It's just 50% more money. One of the reasons we opted to do 50% more instead of doubling the award per faculty member is that we were hoping we could grant awards to more applicants. So historically, between a quarter and a third of applicants get funded. For perspective, College of Fine Arts and Communication, I want to say we had about 20 applications and funded six, all fully funded, but it's right in that line between a quarter and a third. We were thinking if we gave 50% more per faculty member, but double the amount of funding, we might be able to award a third or more. To use that as an example, if nothing else changes, instead of funding six, we could have funded 9 out of 20 last year in COFAC. Now, of course, the wild variable is we might get more applications this year because it's $900,000 instead of $400,000. If we get half again more applications, then it's going to zero out that increase in the number of proposals. The number of proposals funded will go up, but as a proportion of applications, it won't. We just don't know. And this is the first year with the new funding model. So keep all of those things in mind. And then, so those are kind of the big picture changes this year. Otherwise, the application process will be the same. Wednesday, October 8th at 5 p.m. is actually the deadline. So it's actually right in the middle of our mass communication week, but it's a week and a half out, almost 2 weeks away, but it's 5 p.m. on that Wednesday, October 8th. And it's a hard deadline. So you really want to be submitting it a little bit before, leave 10, 15, 20 minutes before to go through some steps. There's a formula to it, which Nina and I can help with. And I don't know if Nina will cover this, but it's a 5-page proposal, 2 more pages allowed for the CV of the principal investigator. If there are 2 investigators, can be 4 pages. There are some other rules. If you've gotten an REP before and gotten published and had success with it, your CV can be longer than 2 pages. You'll have a budget, which is a couple of pages, and each of those gets uploaded separately. So definitely go through the rules. We'll share the links with you. And feel free to get some help. There's a formula to the applications. I think I'm going to let Nina talk about that first, and then I'll be happy to embellish. So why don't I let you take over? And thank you so much for joining us and agreeing to join our brown bag and walk us through this.
Sure, I've got that presentation ready to go if that looks for y'all. Let me see if I can share my screen. Let me get to Okay, are y'all able to see that? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
All right, so we'll be going over the basic REP guidelines, how we spend those funds, how those awards uh, are selected and awarded, and the whole writing process will go in depth on. And the purpose of the REP suit is, remember, to enhance your research, whatever it is that you do in your um, field of study. This is supposed to support that and elevate that career-wise. So, so the full mission is to enhance research and creative expression opportunities for Texas State faculty, and it's faculty-led. So the faculty made the procedures, the policies, and it's administered by faculty as well. If you go to OSP, a lot of times we don't like that because it is a faculty-led process. The grants are awarded through peer review for someone within the college, and then a university-wide council takes a look. And the most important consideration in whether or not it will be funded is the quality of the proposed project. Faculty are eligible. Any full-time tenured or tenure track faculty with 9 months appointments can be principal investigators or co-investigators. Clinical faculty and faculty of practice may also apply, but research faculty are not eligible, and program faculty can only serve as consultants for these. Full-time non-tenure track faculty of instruction can apply, but only as a co-investigator with a tenured or tenure track faculty. And chairs, directors, program directors, and deans aren't eligible to apply. They can't get in the college. And please stop me if you have any questions at any time. Faculty can only submit one proposal per year. For collaborative proposal, only one PI needs to be designated. You cannot receive REP funds in consecutive years, and if you're delinquent on anything, you're not eligible to apply. As Kelly was saying, the maximum award has been increased. It's now $12,000, and if there are 2 or more people leading the investigation, then it can be awarded up to $24,000. Salary stipends, though, may not exceed $10,000 and can only be used in the summer. And the combined teaching salary and salary stipend cannot exceed 1/3 of your 9-month salary. So if you have any questions about that, give me a call and we'll do the math. So more on summary salary. So for a multi-person project, you have to justify the specialization that each person has for the project, and why it needs 2 co-investigators. And again, email me if you have any questions on the numbers. You can spend money on assistants, whether it's graduate or undergraduate, transcription costs, coding costs, consultants. You can do research travel, but please remember that you are not allowed to go to conferences to present, unfortunately. But any travel that's required to conduct the research is eligible. Supplies and equipment, again, necessary to conduct the research. And incentive payments for human subjects, like Kelly was saying, survey subjects, panel participants, and anyone else. And that's typically in the form of cash business cards. So not allowed funding is anything to complete a student's master's or doctoral thesis, education or training So you can't apply for training unless it's related specifically to the project. And for that, you should have to make a justification of why it's required for the project and how it would not be possible if you didn't have that education or training. But it can get a little touchy. Um, Conference registration and travel to conferences, again, not covered. And then course curriculum or development projects are also not covered. It's supposed to be for your research specifically, not anyone else's, not to present, but to conduct. Okay, so who selects? So in the past, this is how it was. I'm assuming that the Faculty Senate Advisory is taking over for the Faculty Senate currently, but we'll see. Um, so there is um, the College Research Enhancement Committee, or CREC, and that's made up of the elected faculty members from each department or school within the college. And then it moves up to the Research Enhancement Committee, which is college-wide, and then the Faculty Senate vote on it. So there's several levels. And to go further in depth, so the college committee scores the proposals. So that is, not necessarily somebody in your field, but at least someone within the college. And then they rank those proposals in descending order. If there's any budget issues, they might do adjustments and lower things. Hopefully not. That's not very common from what I've seen. And then the university committee they send off, I'm sorry, I'm following my arrows incorrectly. And then the highest rated are marked for funding and they resolve any ties between. Um, then the college committee chair recommends to the university committee and the ABPR. And they resolve any conflicts and review and improve those recommendations. Then those recommendations are sent to Faculty Senate, essentially Faculty Senate Advisory Group, and then they determine whether or not those are appropriate and act on the recommendations, and then they send emails to all applicants. Yes.
A couple of additions on our committee. We have a representative from each of the departments in the college committee. So there's somebody from your department there. So we always have somebody from comm studies, music, theater, and dance. So there's always a representative from your department. That way, as the applications come up, the conversation sometimes is this a typical kind of application? Does this seem appropriate for someone in your area? And then a representative from your faculty in your department will say, yes, that's true. No, we're not supposed to advocate for people in our department, but there's always somebody there from your area with expertise in your area to clarify those. And then the Senate's role, and Nina has touched on this, the Senate's role really just took recommendations from the university committee and voted yes or no. So they don't like drill down into it or look at the applications. So we aren't sure yet. I wrote to Augustine Aguela, he leads the university committee, and said he doesn't know yet whether the university advisory committee is going to play that same role as the Senate advisory committee, as the Senate used to. But that role used to just be, here are our recommendations from the university committee, and they would vote yes or no. Probably be the same.
Thank you. All right. And then, so again, how much funding will Texas State award? Again, they're doubling it this year, which I did not include. Sorry. That's that. So small portion comes from the university's overall funded research, and some comes from state funds. I don't believe they're TIP funds anymore. I think they're TIP funds now. But it comes from university-wide funding that they take up from the other projects going on. Some of it's from IDC, I believe, too. So this was previous year's funding. The amount of funding awarded to each college is proportional to the number of proposals that they receive. The more proposals we put in, the bigger our section of the pot should be. And so Um, Last year, it looks like each college was awarded 33.7% of the funds requested. And this year, we're hoping it's going to be higher. Last year, it was 64,000. And then the year before last, it was 64,000. And then last year, 88,000 are the numbers I found. And then again, last year's funding, this is just comparing the different colleges. Um, we are right here. 88,000. So we're up there with we're second leading the university. So, we want to keep those numbers high and keep our section of the pot growing. Okay, so how do you apply? So all the proposals are submitted online electronically. If anyone needs any assistance with that, I'm here to help, but there is also um, uh, assistance through OSP. Um, that's the link that you would click on. I'm happy to walk through it with anyone who needs. And once you click on it, it will begin the process for you. This is the rubric that everything is scored off it. I honestly, as you're writing, recommend you just have this out and next to you because it's a great way to organize the paper. It goes a lot seamlessly when people are scoring it. They don't have to be searching through and wondering what's going to be where in your paper. And that way, the more qualitative things that they're assessing on, like your creativity and originality, can kind of shine through a little bit more. And then with the application, the main part is the proposal narrative, and that will need to be 5 pages or under, including any citations, double spaced in 12-point font with 1-inch margins. And the references and citations and also any text associated with tables can be single spaced. And overall, your narrative has to include an introduction statement and or a statement of purpose and hypothesis or hypothesis. A description of the proposed project, such as statements detailing why it's important to both your field and your personal scholarly and creative development journey, and that you have access to the necessary resources. Oops, sorry. The methodology and the product design needs to be discussed. The budget justification as well. It's a pretty simple and straightforward budget, but if you need any help, of course, I'm always here to help. Explanation of roles if there are multiple investigator, and 2 pages additional should be attached in one PDF for your CV with the narrative. And of course, if there are more than one investigator, you can have up to 4 pages. And when you apply, you'll also need to provide an abstract. It should be 150 to 250 words, and that you will, I believe it's a box that you type right into. So you just want to copy paste that over, but it's submitted separately from the narrative. And then for your CV, it's a 2-page maximum. So you want to make sure also that it is, tailored to this research project, that it's not just cut off at 2 pages, which I have seen. Go through your CV and pick out and point out the things that are most related to this project that you'll be applying for. And so it's, again, 2 pages maximum, single spaced in Times New Roman 12-point font, 2 pages for each person on the application, and they should detail previous outcomes if you've received any RFPs as well, and a third page is allowed for that purpose if you've received them. They should be added to the end of the narrative so that it's one PDF document. And they have to be uploaded via the online application, and it'll give you a little button that says narrative/need to upload on the menu bar, and you just upload them together. And for the budget, this is the budget template that we have for the college. It's pretty straightforward, but it is in the system when you go to the REP system, application system, but it's kind of um, tricky to click around into and find. So if you need it for your records, please let me know and I'll send it your way. It's required and it's a separate document. So some of the lines include faculty salary, hourly wages for any assistants, and maintenance and operating, which will be your consultant supplies, any travel, um, anything like that. And again, please note that consultants and funds for human subject payment are also listed under M&O. And once you're awarded, so all awardees will receive notice from Dr. Blanda. Um, in the past, it's been him. I think it'll still continue to be him, that they've been awarded and it's been posted to the website. And then after that, you have to actually accept the award and give them notice by sending back their documents signed by the due date that they list in that email. And be sure to please copy Meredith and I and your department administrative assistant. So that way we can all work together and make sure that things get paid on time. Um, and new this year is that the recipients must meet with a member of the research development staff within 3 months to explore ideas for future funding or other activities that broaden the reach. So they really want to see how this is going to launch future study for you, how it's going to um, open up future funding opportunities, and what kind of funding people need. I think that as a university, the research office is taking a, a bigger interest in actually finding funding and helping us track that stuff down. So it's not just the research coordinators and the faculty themselves. Um, and then Kelly, if you have any more, please feel free to add. Of course, that's the whole meeting topic, so I'm sure we'll round robin a bit. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact Meredith or I. And yeah, that's all I've got.
And I put a link. You covered everything. I had a couple of notes, and then you touched on each of those things, so I don't really have to reiterate much. So fabulous, nice job. I put links to the universities and to C3's site in chat, and you may want to just keep those handy. We do have on C3, there's a tab that says internal funding, and there are a bunch of details in there for REPs, including previously funded proposals from each department. So you can go look at what a communication design proposal that got funded looks like, or one from theater and dance. So one thing I thought of, and you touched on this, you want to optimize your two-page CV for the project you're proposing. So emphasize your history in this area of gallery presentations, of shows, of prior research that you've presented at conferences or published. Make sure you're showcasing that so that it shows that you have some expertise in this area and it's in your wheelhouse and that makes it more likely that you'll get supported. Otherwise, everything was terrific, Nina. Nice job. Thank you. But we'll be happy to answer any questions for you.
There is one question in the chat.
Oh, thanks, Nadine.
Rosanna has asked a question.
Hi, yes. It's about the website. I'm an assistant professor of practice, but I'm non-tenure. And the way it's described in the paragraph is a little bit ambiguous, or at least for me. So the slide said just tenure or tenure track. So I'm not sure, I mean, it's very interesting, but maybe I shouldn't be here. But still, I don't know if I can apply.
Yeah, you actually can apply at your current status.
Awesome. Thank you.
And Nina, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, faculty of practice can absolutely apply by yourself as a principal investigator. You don't have to partner with anybody.
Awesome.
Yes,
Thank you so
that's
much.
Mhm.
And this is Liz. I had a question too, and that is if you could please show us the slide regarding what the REP will fund again. That was super helpful, and I meant to
sure.
write that down, but yeah, thanks.
Yeah, that's a good idea because even with Liz, it's a great question because even some travel is funded, some travel is not, right? So it's a little complicated. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
may ask Nina to share. There's two slides there which are helpful.
Yeah, thank you.
And yes, I'll have the recording, Rosanna, and I'll just share that widely.
Okay, there's that. So that I think it's just the one page. That's pretty much got everything that
There was
will fund.
there were two slides. One said like what it will fund and one what it won't fund.
I think it
Um,
was a little earlier, Nina.
yeah, that was really helpful.
Well, not. So that's what it won't fund.
Okay, and then I think the one before that was what it will fund. Yeah, perfect.
You can leave it.
I also had
Let
a,
me know if y'all you need it. Uh-huh.
yeah, sorry, I was trying to remember how to do like the hand emoji, but um I was curious about the incentive payments for human subjects. First of all, I love how that's phrased. It's so funny. But does that mean like could that be a stipend to like an artist you're working with per se?
So that would
That
actually,
would be a consulting fee,
yeah, thank you.
possibly.
You can write in a consultant and more than one consultant. For example, in music, it's common for a PI to hire a music producer to create a recording or to hire musicians to help them with a composition they're going to produce. And so those are consultants that can go into the budget. The incentives is for somebody who does something like, for example, I sometimes do focus groups. And so we have to pay $10 gift cards to get people to participate in the focus groups or to grant interviews. And so that's why it's phrased that way.
Actually, following up on Tamara's question, that was really great. What about like hiring? Could we use the funds for like someone to write about work or a curator fee? I'm thinking of visual art specifically, or even a web designer. Are those within the realm or not quite?
Yeah, I think those would qualify as consultants. I don't know, Nina, if you've seen that before. It's really broad and they're very forgiving as long as you make a good justification.
Yeah, that's been my experience as well, is that that would go under the category of consultant, and that as long as it's something that's absolutely necessary for the project to be executed as you envision, then it should be fine.
So Liz, you could focus on the visual art and it wouldn't be a co-PI, so you'd still be limited to the 12,000, but you could focus on the visual art, but hire a consultant to publish it to a website or create it as a book or something.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
I had a question. Could you speak a little bit to the creative expression side versus the research side of what the REP will fund? I'm a dance professor and I'm wanting to kind of produce a show. And I'm wondering how much of a research framework do I need to give that, or can I go on the like the art itself is the research?
You can focus entirely on staging that show, and that is your product. And it's perfectly fine to do that. And in our college, especially,
Right.
we've carefully rewritten the rubric that we score these things with. So we're very careful about scholarly or creative, and it's written throughout. And so yeah, if you want to stage something or screen a film, or your end goal is you'll release a record, all of those are very familiar to us in the college, and they count just the same as research, and you never have to mention research.
Great, thanks.
Mhm. And by the way, the university committee across the university has been very good about being deferential to the college recommendations. So the college doesn't recommend fund these 9 out of our 25 applications, but the college members of the committee score them. And then the university looks at those scores and doesn't make judgment calls about this is so different from what we do in chemistry. They just go by those scores. So it really is your local college committee making the decision.
I have a question. So, okay, somebody else. Okay. So in School of Journalism and Mass Communication, what does this consultants look like? I mean, like how can we hire? Like I know the arts, they have other, I mean, we just discussed, but
Yeah,
non-art.
it's a great question. In the past, we've had faculty members who hired a couple of students for summer work to help with coding something if they're doing content analysis, that sort of thing. And so sometimes students can get hired as consultants on an REP.
Oh, okay.
And
Does that?
really, I've seen consultants do if it's anyone who has any expertise that you need to pull off the project, whatever that project may be, who's not, it would have to be someone outside your department, because that expertise, it just has to be something that, again, you wouldn't be able to do yourself. You need somebody else's expertise in order to complete the project.
And Amanda, a thought, Anna Bear in your department has been funded in the past, I think a very similar project. So you may want to talk to her.
Yeah,
And
I did ask
good.
her, and she felt like there needed to be like a clear research line of reasoning. So that's why I asked
Yeah,
you.
definitely not. But no, it's a
Okay.
great question. Yeah.
I do have a question about eligibility. Um, and if I could get some clarity about for non-tenure line faculty, there was a line in there that faculty of practice aren't eligible, but not if they're program faculty. Could you clarify?
Nina, can I defer to you on that one? I'm not quite sure what program faculty means.
Same.
So if you're not program faculty, it probably doesn't apply to you. Program faculty would have the title of program faculty. Just like a clinical or faculty of practice would.
I see. I see. Um,
Yeah.
and then if I'm putting together an application, sorry, and my CI is faculty of instruction and I'm faculty of practice, that's not eligible according to this?
So if you're faculty of practice, you're eligible, and then they can be a co-investigator regardless of their faculty status because
Oh, okay.
you give the imprimatur of eligibility. And so they can join you even if they wouldn't be eligible alone, it doesn't matter what their status is if they're co-investigators.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Mhm. I need to ask what program faculty is. And if Cindy or anybody on here knows, you're welcome to jump in and help explain it. Sorry, I don't know that. Other questions? I'm watching the chat also. Okay, well, you can always reach out to us also if questions come up, and they will as you go through the process. We can, and I can help identify, and you can go to the C3 website at that link I shared and look and see who has been funded in your area when you look at those proposals. Pick on those people first. And then, of course, Nina is available to look at proposals. I'm happy to look at proposals, even from across the college. I served as a representative for School of Journalism and Mass Communication for several years on our committee, and now I'm chairing our college committee. So I've seen lots of proposals from theater and dance, music, art and design. So I'm happy to help with any proposal too. So just keep our contact information handy. Heidi?
Yeah, thank you, Kelly, and thank you, Nina, for the introductions for everyone here. If there is anything that I can share from a previous experience, I had a chance last year to get an REP for a study that I'm currently in. It's in progress. So if a piece of advice that I can share, the rubric that Nina shared was something that was very key help in putting out together the REP. The first draft, at least, had kind of like a mind block, and it helped me even pre and post writing to know what are the areas that the committee would be looking at. So kind of like helps me get focused into the point instead of going off tangents of what needs to be and what doesn't. Because I know it's really a challenge to kind of like limit everything in a 5 page. So that was a very significant help. Um, Another thing I would say, if you're doing research, the first thing you would actually receive a lot of help post your award receiving. And they will kind of like Meredith will take you through all of the steps, what you need to do, what you need to apply for actually receiving your funds. You can do a cash advance, or it depends on how you're going off of this. And I think the last point that I wanted to mention to Tamara, you mentioned the incentives, and I know it kind of like had two gift cards. One of the ways that worked for me, or an example that I was doing, I had gift cards as an incentive for the app that I was using, and I listed it under supplies because this is what was going to be installed on the app. And then there's also the compensation. That's kind of like the wording that I had, which was the $50 gift card, whatever, at the end of the study. So it could be a gift card pre and post, kind of like an incentive at the beginning. So yeah, that's one of the ways, as an example, that I went off of. And also, I'd be happy if someone had a question, I'd be happy to help as much as I can from what I know. So
Thank you, Heidi. I appreciate it.
Idea.
Heidi's project is very research oriented and involves AI and wearable technology and is a really neat proposal. And so yeah, I'm glad you're offering to help. You made a very important point, and I describe sometimes to applicants, if any of you uses a grading rubric in Canvas, the rubric that we score is very much like that. And so I tell applicants, follow that, because we not only grade or score the proposal by that document, but we do it in sections. So the introduction gets a separate score, and then the main body, the 25-point part, quality of writing, thoroughness of, and we say literature review, but that might just be your history of presenting art in exhibits in a certain area. That sort of counts as like the literature review. So definitely customize it to your area, but we'll score that main body as a separate score, and then the budget as a separate score. So do go through that document. It's a very good guide. Other questions?
I do have one more. If we're looking at and I've gotten some varying answers to this question. If we're looking at a longitudinal study, it's been a long week. We're looking at a longitudinal study where the REP funds, the max allotment would get us started and get us underway, but it would require additional funds that are likely to still come in order to continue the project. Would REP still see that as something that's fundable, or should we go about it a different direction?
Yeah, I don't think that would dissuade them at all. Under the new model, you're actually encouraged to meet with somebody, and Nina touched on this. This is new this year. Within 3 months of being funded, you have to meet with somebody in the Office of Sponsored Programs. It doesn't mean classic external federal research funding. They might, if it's appropriate, connect you with somebody in the development office to pursue private funding or go after foundation funding. Your project wouldn't dissuade being awarded at all. They would just connect you with somebody. And again, the requirement is that within 3 months of being awarded, you meet with somebody in the Office of Sponsored Projects. Doesn't mean you have to submit a grant application or pursue or get external funding. None of that is required. I think in your area, it might be beneficial. The last thing is if none of those external funding sources pan out, in 2 years, you're eligible to go back and pursue another REP. And then you can make the case that this has been funded once by REP. To continue and advance the study, you need to be funded once more. And I think it would be compelling.
Thank you so much.
Mhm. By the way, we did research that helped lead to doubling the funding amount from 450 to 900,000, surveyed people who'd been funded by REPs, asked them, did it help you get a presentation, get an exhibit, get a publication in an academic journal? Did it help you pursue or get external funding awarded? And the numbers were off the charts. So people said REP helped plant the seed for millions of dollars in external funding. And that was a big incentive for them to double the amount. It's also why they added that requirement to go talk to somebody in sponsored projects, because it's good for the run to R1 if more of our REP awardees get some external funding.
I think that 450 had been the cap for a very long time, hadn't it?
20 years, I think.
Yeah, so it was time. But it's good that the research backed it up to support increasing it, doubling it. That's awesome.
Yeah, we were shocked that they went that high and the Senate approved it right away. We were concerned because a lot of the REP funding traditionally has come from indirect funding from external grants, from federal grants. And of course, we're not entirely confident that our indirect will stay the same, but the university had seen a steady increase in external funding in the recent years, and so they were confident in it. Other question? Okay, well, what I'm really hoping happens is that we don't get more applications, and that way the approval rate goes up maybe 50% to like 40 or 50% instead of 30%. So that's my hope, is that more projects get funded, but you never know. And Nina made the point, we were tied for second in number of proposals at 25 last year, but second behind only science and engineering in the amount of money. Our college has been in that position repeatedly over the last 10 years, which is pretty remarkable. So I encourage you to apply, because even if you apply, and this is horrible, two-thirds don't get funded, but you're still helping contribute to our college getting a bigger piece of that pie. And so it still helps the college and keeps us on the radar in the Office of Sponsored Projects. So we encourage you to apply regardless. The other thing is, if you apply and your project is turned down, and Nina knows all about this because she has a strategic initiative underway on this topic, we target folks who didn't get approved last year and reach out to them the next year and say, you have a proposal written, let's just tweak it a little bit and resubmit it. And sometimes you don't even have to change anything. Sometimes the next year with a different committee, they like it and it rises higher in the scores. So keep submitting existing projects until they get funded. Other questions? Okay, thanks all. Again, you know how to find us. You can reach out to me or Nina. I think we've shared our contact information pretty widely. Once we have this recording, I'll pass that around as widely as I can, but if you get it in your department, please share with your faculty. Usually what I do is we have the C3 advisory board, and there's a representative or two from each department in the college. So we'll send it to them and ask them to like distribute it to their faculty. So if you don't see the recording or somebody asks you about it, just write to me and ask, and I'll be happy to share it with you, and we'll pass it around.